Okay, I'm pretty sure everything should be nice and set up for this video. Hey guys, it's been a long while since I did one of these videos on the channel, but this is Multi-Scatter Sans here, but you can just call me Sans for this occasion because, as you can see, we're doing something very different today. We're doing a Dreamworks movie tier list today. Yeah, this is a bit of a surprise because my VA who's voicing me right now, he's been trying to figure out how to do videos like this for a good while now. So when he found out finally how to do this, he came to me and said, you haven't been in any videos lately. You might as well do this video to celebrate the fact that we can not only do tier list videos, but we can possibly do also reactions in the future. So yeah, we could do tier list and future reaction videos. So that's going to be very exciting for this occasion. So yeah, today we're doing a Dreamworks tier list. We got a lot of good movies here. Some great, some shit. And as you can see by my tier list, we have Absolute Banger, which is S tier, Amazing, which is A tier, Great being B tier, Okay being C tier, Iffy for D, and yeah, you get the idea. Basically, we're going to be ranking these movies just based off my experience and from my viewing of these movies. So, yeah, without further ado, let's begin with the first movie, Ants. Okay, so this movie has a bit of an interesting history behind the scenes. So, for those who don't know, Ants was released, if I remember, the same year as A Bug's Life was from Pixar. So, it was kind of like who can get the bug movie out first, but I honestly don't remember anything from this movie. It's their first film, but I don't really remember anything from it. So I'm just gonna put this in D for right now because again, it's like the first movie. I don't know. All I really remember is that the movie was like about. It's basically a more mature, darker version of It's a Bug's Life. That's basically my guessing from what I remember from this movie because I haven't seen this movie in years. So I can't really remember anything from it. So I think D tier makes sense for that. Now we have the Prince of Egypt, which just put it here. Prince of Egypt just goes hard. I love this movie. This movie goes hard and I love it. The animation, amazing. The voice acting, just chef's kiss. The musical numbers, holy crap. You would think Prince of Egypt was based around from Disney's era of hand-drawn animation, but it's not. It's Dreamworks. So the fact that Dreamworks was able to make a movie this amazing is just saying a lot. And it's a hand-drawn animation, so that makes it a bit better in my opinion. So yeah, I'm putting Prince of Egypt in S tier just because this movie is really amazing. Oh, and speaking of which, while I'm here, I forgot to mention, there are going to be spoilers for this tier list. There are going to be spoilers. So if there's a movie you don't want spoilers for, I suggest you either turn your volumes down or just wait till I'm done reviewing them, and then we'll just move on from there. So yeah, so basically, Ants is kind of just because it's the first movie of DreamWorks, and Prince of Egypt's fucking amazing because the way how they represented the characters like Moses, Ramses, and even the other characters like the slaves in the movie. Yeah, they really did amazing with that one. So now we have the Road to El Dorado. This is an interesting one because this movie right here, just I don't know how to describe it. Back in the day, it didn't really get a lot of love. But now it gets a lot of love. I think what really sells me this one is the humor. The humor I think is really hilarious, especially with the adult jokes. And I did like the characters a lot. And I did like the villain a lot because he was all about sacrificing people. Like he was so fascinated with sacrificing people that he basically went on this sacrificing like genocide run with a lot of people. So yeah, I think this movie overall was amazing. I say it was great. Well, it's an A tier mainly for the humor, and again, it's a hand-drawn animation, but it's not as good as Prince of Egypt. but I still think it's A tier. So now we have a fan favorite. We have Chicken Run. This movie was weird for me. Something about the animation was just so odd. But I do like this movie a lot. I think Mrs. Tweety definitely is one of those characters where it's like, she's a human character. But the fact that she was so dedicated to making chicken pies with these chickens was just so... It was so terrifying. The fact that she was that determined to kill all the chickens. And she was just a harsh woman, like, seriously. I'm kind of glad she got what she deserved at the end of the movie. But still, though, I think Chicken Run is still a classic. I mean, again, it's an Aardman film, so of course Aardman's gonna make some pretty solid films. So, I would put Chicken Run in B tier, though, because it's a classic, but compared to these two, it's not close. But speaking of which, yeah, it's Shrek time. And I know some people are going to be surprised that I'm not going to put Shrek in S tier. I'm actually going to be putting it in the high of A tier, if I can. There we go. I'm going to put Shrek in A tier. And here's why. The movie itself is amazing. I love the humor. I love Shrek. I love Donkey. I love Lord Farquaad. I love all the characters. But the reason why it's not in S tier is because there's a specific movie later on we're going to talk about that did better than Shrek. But still, I think, again, the humor for this one, I really love a lot. I do love the characters. Shrek is really relatable, surprisingly, in this movie. And Donkey is just hilarious. I mean, Eddie Murphy did amazing as him. And then, like, every other character in the film was really funny. I especially loved Gingy in this one. And the dragon was awesome. I love the ending where the dragon just shows up out of nowhere and then just eats Lord Farquaad like a freaking midnight snack. I think that was pretty funny. And so, yeah, I would probably put Shrek in A tier. It's not S tier material yet, but you'll see why in a minute. So, now we have Spirit. Now, this... yeah, it's S. I can't with this one. This movie, underrated. Underrated. If you've never seen Spirit, you're missing out. And that reminds me, actually, if you've missed on Prince of Egypt, Road El Dorado, Chicken Run, and Shrek, and a few of these other films we're going to be talking about, I highly recommend them. These films, at least here, these right here, they are... If you hear talking in the background, I do apologize for that. But yeah, Spirit. It's like Prince of Egypt, where it's focused on a biblical story. Prince of Egypt is based off the story of Moses, and this one, in Spirit, is based off the story of the Wild West. But the story itself is told from the perspective of a horse. And this is one of those movies where there's, like, rarely any talking. Like, there's, like, little to no talking in this film. But just looking at their expressions, like, the way how they express themselves is basically telling you what's going on. And this movie just does it perfectly. Also, the soundtrack for this film. Oh my god. I actually may have shed a tear or two in this one. Especially the ending, where he leaves with the female horse, who's named Rain in this one. Oh god. This movie actually almost made me shed tears. It was that amazing. And the soundtrack just goes hard. Which I gotta give a thank you to Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer is like the music composer for most of the Dreamworks movies. He does an amazing job. Like, I love his work. Like, he really makes the fucking movies he does. They really shed a lot of, like, expression and just emotion when he makes the music for some of these movies. So yeah, it really shows in Spirit especially. So if you've never seen Spirit, Prince of Egypt, Shrek, El Dorado, or Chicken Run, Ants is kind of but these 5 films, I recommend them if you've never seen them. Alright, well, now that that's done, let's move on. Sinbad. Oh, here we go. This is a controversial movie. Okay, so a little bit of a background history with Sinbad here, which I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me for putting it in A tier. But let me explain myself first. So, back in the day, Sinbad was awful. A lot of people hated it for some reason. And I don't really know why. I mean, I don't find this movie awful actually. I mean, some people say like, "Oh, the main character is annoying because he's one of those, oh, I don't follow the rules, I make my own rules." That being Sinbad, but I didn't hate him. I kind of liked this character for some weird reason. I don't know, maybe it's just the oddball in me coming out, but I really don't know. I kind of like Sinbad. And the villainess, Ares, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, just, if you've seen this movie, enough said. Like, if you've seen Ares in this movie, just, that's enough said. Like, I don't have to explain this. But anyway, I didn't hate the movie, and I actually kind of thought the animation really was amazing for this one. Although, if I remember correctly, this film is also the first one that tried to implicate hand-drawn animation with CGI. It didn't look good back then, but a lot of people like it now, so I guess to give it a little bit of props, Sinbad is an A tier. I know a lot of people will disagree, but I do give a recommendation to at least check it out one time. Maybe there's something in it that we all misjudged. I don't know, but this movie got a lot of hate back then. And also, before we continue, this movie was said to be the worst hand-drawn animation, and it's the reason why hand-drawn animation got stopped being a thing. I heavily disagree with that statement. I don't think hand-drawn animation was over thanks to this film. I don't think so. Maybe they just thought that hand-drawn animation was getting old. Anyway, enough of me ranting about this movie. Let's move on. Shrek 2. So remember why I said Shrek isn't an S tier? That's because Shrek 2 is the S tier. Let me just fix this. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, Shrek 2. It's an S tier. It's funnier. The story is more fun. The characters are especially just... Holy crap. This is literally Shrek 2.0. There's a reason it's called Shrek 2. Because Shrek, while it is amazing, Shrek 2, miles better. I love the new character, Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots is just awesome. I loved Fairy Godmother as an antagonist. Prince Charming was... okay. I thought he was funny. I liked him in this one. And also the soundtrack for this one just I Need a Hero. I Need a Hero just speaks it. And then the ending song where they celebrate in the end, ugh. I will say though, I was not a fan of Fiona's parents. I did not like Prince Harold or King Harold in this movie. I thought the Queen was okay, but Harold, he was annoying. I did not like him. I mean, I kind of get why he acted the way he did at the end, because he was a toad or a frog. And the whole reason he acted the way he did was because, you know, he didn't want to show his true self. But still, dude, like, if Fiona's in love with the one that she loves, just accept it and move on. Alright, so now we have Shark Tale. Oh boy, I feel like I'm going to be very heavily judged on where I'm going to put this one. No, there we go. I think the film is okay. I know that this movie has awful animation. I get that the voice acting is just a bunch of celebrities. I know that there are lots of faults to this movie. I am aware of this. But to give a little bit of credit here, I don't think it was that bad. Yes, the animation is awful. But I strangely didn't mind this movie. It's not amazing, say like Shrek, but I thought the movie itself was tolerable. I mean, it's not the greatest masterpiece out there, but there are worser films than this one. There are worse. So I wanted to go into that to Shark Tale with a bit of an open mind, and I thought, you know what? Yes, there are issues, but you can at least tolerate them. But the main character, I will admit, is a nuisance. Oscar is a villain that just never gets pointed out at all. Like, the whole story is that he wants to be famous, he wants to do something crazy to get fame, so he pretends to kill a shark. Is called the Shark Slayer, which then this whole group of mafia sharks are like, oh, this fish killed my son, now we gotta kill him to avenge my son. This movie just doesn't make any sense, but I can roll with it, you know? Alright, so now we have, oh yes, Madagascar. This just go to B tier. Now I know Madagascar, I don't know, does it belong in B? Because I really love this film. I really do. I thought the Keller, Alex, Marty, Gloria, Melvin, such good friends. The whole trip to Madagascar, God, I don't know where to put this one. I don't know. Do I put it in high B or low A? Because the story itself, I think, is kind of interesting. King Julian's hilarious in this film. He's just funny as hell. I love King Julian a lot. Let's see. What else? I thought the Fusas were stupid. I mean, were they even villains? I know that the Wikipedia states them as the villains in this movie, but were they really villains? Because I thought they were kind of stupid. And I thought, let's see, I thought the final battle at the end was pretty cool. Although it was just a bunch of wackiness. But, you know, that's just Madagascar in a nutshell. It's just one of those wacky movies that you can sit back and watch. Oh, also, the freaking, the adult joke. The Oh Sugar Honey Iced Tea. That's an abbreviation for oh shit. I thought that was pretty humorous. And I actually did not realize it until I actually broke it down. And I was laughing for a good 10 minutes. So yeah, I think, yeah, I'll keep it in B tier. High B tier, I think, makes sense. So now we have Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Huh. I put it in the same field as Chicken Run. I feel like these two movies are kind of similar. I mean, I like Chicken Run a bit more, but this movie I thought it was still fun. Like, Wallace and Gromit themselves are icons. Like, I'm pretty sure they're really famous in the UK, if I remember correctly. Like, they're really famous there. Because of, you know, they represent, like, the UK humor over there. The movie itself, I think, is okay-ish. But even then, I still think the humor's hilarious. And there are some good plot twists here and there. Also, Victor Quartermain is a huge simp. He is a huge ass simp. Huh, kinda reminds me of a certain green somebody. Kinda reminds me of a green guy I know. Very furry, has like half of his body removed and has like a bony tip at the end of his tail. I don't know, I can't put my finger on it. But yeah, Victor Quartermain kinda reminds me of that freaking thing. I don't remember, but yeah, I say Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Yeah, it's in the same tier as Chicken Run. So I think this is a good tier list so far. Oh, and also, that also reminds me, which I forgot to mention earlier. If you do disagree with this tier list, leave your tier list in the comments below. So I can hear your overall thoughts on these movies. So, yeah, if you kind of disagree with this list, let me know in the comments on your tier list and where would you rank these movies. Alright, so now we have Over the Hedge. Oh, this is underrated. This is underrated. I'm putting it here. It's underrated. Once again, the soundtrack just carries this movie. It's carried. Also, the voice actors in this one were really fun. I liked Bruce Willis as RJ. Steve Carell was Hammy in this film, which kind of surprised me. I was like, really? The voice of Gru himself was the crackhead squirrel? I mean, yeah, I can test with that. I agree with it. The story itself is kind of surprisingly fun. Like, it's about RJ trying to repay this bear that he fucked over at the beginning of the movie by getting all the things back. But then, like, as soon as he gives it back, he's like, "Oh wait, but these friends of mine have been captured by the Verminator, and now I want to go and save them because, you know, he never had a family up until that point." So, yeah. Yeah, there are two villains in this film. There was the the House President, who was a Karen, and then we had the Verminator, who's a huge Chad for some stupid reason on the internet. But basically, this is the one of the fewest films that has like more than one villain. So, and again, the soundtrack for this film just hit hard. Again, I highly recommend these two. I recommend them. So yes, Flushed Away. Okay, I have to say it. A man of quality. I'm sorry, I had to say it. I'm sorry. I really had to make the joke. Flushed Away. I was actually gonna put this in C tier originally, but I rewatched it again. I think this movie was. I think it's up there with the Aardman films here, like Chicken Run and Wallace and Gromit, because all three of these films right here, all three of them, were made by Aardman. So it kind of makes sense that all the Aardman films are grouped together. So the Toad in this film was fucking funny, though. I love the Toad. And the French frogs as well. So yeah, I really don't have much to say about it, though, unfortunately. But I think this film is pretty good. So now we have... No. 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 Fuck this movie. Shrek the Third sucks. There is no words to describe this trash. There's no words to describe this film. So, let me break it down to you like this. What happens when you have a really good start, a fucking amazing middle, but fuck over the ending? That's basically Shrek the Third in a nutshell. Because this movie is utter dog shit. The characters? What happened? Our villain is a fucking joke. I don't know how the hell they thought Prince Charming was a threat throughout the movie. Prince Charming is an utter crybaby. And the whole movie itself is a waste of fucking time. Like, how do people like it? Seriously. Oh, there's only one good scene in the movie, and it's the scene where King Arthur's talking with Shrek around a campfire, and that's really it. That's the only good scene in the movie. And also, that moment when Prince Charming has worse aim than a stormtrooper. Like, the final climax of the movie, like, you wanna know how Prince Charming wants to defeat Shrek in this movie? He puts on a play. Are you really kidding me? That's how you want to beat your freaking the hero of the movie? And this dude singing made me want to lose my ears. Oh wait, I don't have any. But still, I don't have ears, and I still heard the pain and agony from that fucking singing. Oh god, it was awful. And then he tries to stab Shrek in the stomach, which he somehow missed. The dude was 3 fucking feet away from you. How did you miss that? How did you miss? How do you miss with a sword that you are controlling? How do you miss that? And I'm like, this was our villain. Just a piss baby the whole time. The movie itself is not fun, but Prince Charming made it worse. So this film can go fuck itself. Don't watch this movie right here. Don't fucking watch it. And speaking of which, we have the B movie. Yeah, I did not put the B movie in S. Because I think the B movie is one of those films that makes you question yourself. Not to mention the internet would not stop making memes out of it. Like, oh, it's the B movie, but it gets faster. It's the B movie, but weird shit. And then, yeah. B movie itself is just weird. The whole film is about bees and humans together and shit. Which doesn't make sense because the humans are just like, oh, bees talking. Oh, that's casual, you know. That's something you see every day. You just walk outside, talk to your bees in the garden. You know. Yeah. No. I was gonna put this in an F. I was. But I'm giving it a little bit of credit. Just a teensy bit. But still. No. Kung Fu Panda, S. Kung Fu Panda just is amazing. This movie is fucking amazing. Just voice acting amazing, animation amazing, freaking soundtrack amazing. The story, oh my god, the story's a fucking masterpiece. Like, Po himself is such a good character. Although my only real issue with Kung Fu Panda 1 was that Shifu was an asshole. Shifu was a major dick. I get that he kept denying that, oh, Po's not the Dragon Warrior. He's not the Dragon Warrior. But then later on he's like, oh. Oogway then tells him, like, oh, if he can't be a Dragon Warrior if you don't do your job and, guide him. So in other words, Shifu was a complete idiot in that scene. Like, seriously, dude, just train the dude. Just train him. If Oogway, if your own mentor is telling you that he is the Dragon Warrior and you keep denying it, then go change your goddamn diaper, okay? Change your damn diaper, okay? But Kung Fu Panda, still an amazing movie. I recommend this film. Alright, Madagascar 2. Wait. Oh god, where do I put this one? I'll put it in A. Because the humor in this one, it's basically like Shrek 2. The humor in this one's just hilarious for me. Especially the scene where the penguins and the chimps talk about maternity leaves. That scene had me laugh for a good 15 minutes. And the movie itself, I also love how this movie also talks about their origins, like Alex and how he gets to New York City, and then he ends up reuniting with his parents. And then Makunga himself is Wish's version of Scar. Which, yeah, I didn't really mind that, I guess. Nana in this one was actually kind of more entertaining and Madagascar 2 than the first film. Nana, the grandma, that scene where they fight on the middle of the road, oh, that's funny as hell. I thought it was hilarious. So basically, I would say that Madagascar 2 is like Shrek 2. Because I think this film is funnier than the first one. And I thought the whole origin story of them going back to where they came from was really touching. And also, the scene where Nana beats the shit out of Makunga at the end of the movie. I never tell you, I never thought I'd see karma in its finest. That scene always gives me a good crack. Alright, well, now we have Monsters vs. Aliens. Oh boy, I thought the movie was okay. I mean, the story itself is really weird. The characters are kind of okay-ish. Yeah, I think that's really it, honestly. Like, it's basically just that, Monsters vs. Aliens. An alien invasion heads to Earth, and then the government is like, hey, let's use these monsters that we have kept secret, and let's use them against the aliens. Who turns out to be Squidward as an alien, because Galaxar is just Squidward if he was just an alien. I mean, I thought he wasn't a bad villain, but he was definitely one of the less threatening ones, considering the way how he was. I thought some of the scenes were kind of touching, like the scene where they head back to freaking Susan's house, and then they throw the party. I thought that scene was kind of funny-ish. And also, Bob trying to make love with a pineapple gelatin was weird as hell. Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit in this one, but it's really up to you. I think the movie itself is okay, but it's nothing compared to Shrek the Turd over here. It's nothing compared to this. I despise this movie right here. But yeah, How to Train Your Dragon. My mouse is not working. Oh no. There we go. Wait, where'd I put it? Oh, there it is. Okay, I like Kung Fu Panda more than How to Train Your Dragon. But How to Train Your Dragon is still S tier. No question. The story is awesome. I love Toothless as a dragon character. Hiccup is also really fun. These two bonding together was just super cool. Cool. There we go. Hiccup and Toothless bonding was awesome. And then, like, how like the rest of the movie is basically around the medieval times with the Vikings and like how Vikings and dragons came together. I thought the movie's concept was awesome. And most of the characters I didn't hate. I liked Hiccup's dad. I like Hiccup himself. I like Toothless a lot. I forgot who the villain was in this movie though. I forgot. Was there even a villain in this one? I kind of forgot. But either way, How to Train Your Dragon has an awesome story, awesome characters, awesome dragon designs. Alright, now I remember who the villain was. It's that big dragon. The really big one that was white and had like 6 eyes. The one that shoot out like gas out of its mouth. That reminds me also, that scene at the end where Toothless blasts that huge fireball, I think that's what it is, into the mouth and then the dragon just explodes. I never thought I'd see the day where I saw a dragon explode. I think that was pretty awesome in my book. So How to Train Your Dragon? S tier. I say so far this tier list is coming together pretty good. Okay, so yeah, again, if you disagree with this, just let me know your version in the comments below. So now we have Shrek Forever After. If it will stop messing with me like this. I don't know where to put this one actually. I think I'll put it... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. There we go. I didn't even notice that Prince of Egypt was here. It's meant to be right here. Okay, I'll put Shrek Forever After in A. I was originally going to put it in C, but then I watched it again, and I was like, you know what? This felt more like Shrek the Third than the actual Shrek the Third. Because this film actually kind of completes the series. Rumpelstiltskin was actually a threatening villain to me. The whole concept of him just constantly making deals with people, which they're like, oh yes, I'll make a deal with that trade, but then he turns it against them, and then the only real way to undo the deal is literally undo the deal, which Shrek had to do in this film. The other ogres I thought weren't so bad, and Fiona as like a warrior, I thought the concept design was amazing. And then the whole scene towards the end, where he says to her, like, you know what was my favorite thing about this whole experience? Is that I fell in love with you all over again. I think that was a really nice touch to end the movie. And then him breaking the deal and watching Rumpelstiltskin get sent to wherever the fuck he was sent to at the end. I think the movie was actually a really nice way to have the Shrek series come together in a full circle. Or a complete triangle if we don't include this piece of shit. But yeah, I put Shrek Forever After in A. Now we have Megamind. Okay, we already know where this is going. Actually, yeah. This just speaks for itself. If you've never seen Megamind, you've been living under a rock. That's all I'm gonna say. This movie is fucking amazing. I love Megamind. I love fucking... Hell, the whole fucking Michael Jackson dance at the end. Funny. I love the redemption arc that he goes through. And then Titan was just a huger simp. Like, we have a fair share of simp villains, but Titan, he takes the cake. He takes it. Like, seriously, this dude went as far as to almost kill Roxanne just because she kept declining his love. Like, my dude, we get it. You're thirsty, but go to the fucking grocery store and get some drinks there. Instead of trying to suck off on her tits, for fuck's sake. Yeah, Titan was just an enigma of fucking simpness. Just seriously. Makes the green guy look sane. Alright, well yeah. Megamind I'm not really going to talk about because this movie just speaks for itself. So if you've never seen it, watch it. And now we have Kung Fu Panda 2. And can my mouse stop fucking up? Okay. Kung Fu Panda 2. Yeah. Are you noticing a theme here? All the sequel movies are just better than the first ones. Like, we have Shrek 2 that's in the S tier. We have Madagascar 2 that's in A tier compared to the first. Yeah, if you're noticing a theme here, basically, the sequel films are doing pretty well. Unless you're Kung Fu Panda, in that case, well then, yeah. Oh right, I also forgot something about Kung Fu Panda 1. The villain was awesome. Tai Lung was amazing. His origin story was awesome. And further proof that Shifu was a piss baby, because he tried to fight Tai Lung in the rematch, but then almost died until Po showed up. But that's Kung Fu Panda 1. But we're now at Kung Fu Panda 2, which, speaking of villains, Lord Shen. Holy shit. I think he's the best one. He has connections with Po. He is the reason why the panda race almost went to extinction. Po is one of the few people who survives. He remembers the events that happened in his past, and then he fights his past against Shen. Just, this movie hits deep. It just hits deep. I don't get, I don't get how some people don't like Shen, but I think Lord Shen's fucking badass. He's definitely one of the top best villains of Dreamworks by a landslide. And again, we got Po and the Furious Five, who are still badass in this movie, especially the bridge scene. That whole bridge scene where they fight all the wolves, and then Ox and Croc show up, and then Shifu actually shows up and fights with them. Oh my god. That scene alone is a fucking epic. And then the whole Po trying to figure out who he is with the whole inner peace training he went through. It just, Kung Fu Panda 2 just really took Kung Fu Panda 1 and just made it better. So, yeah, it rightfully earns its place here in the absolute bangers tier. And now we're heading to the first spin-off movie. We have Puss in Boots, a character who which by the way, give me a quick second. No. Okay, now the tier list is getting mixed up. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay. There we go. Puss in Boots, a movie that actually makes a side character have a good movie. Cards too. Sorry. Got a little bit of a cough up. But yeah, Puss in Boots. I like the character. The story I thought was interesting. Humpty Dumpty was a surprise villain, which, I'm not gonna lie, I find it interesting that Puss and Humpty are brothers. According to the backstory of Humpty, they're not brothers, they're not like the same species, but like, Humpty looked up to Puss like an older brother, and then they were like the best of friends committing crimes together. But then once Puss was considered a hero, Humpty felt left behind, therefore wanted to get his revenge on Puss. Hence why the whole movie was basically one huge revenge scheme made by Humpty. But then like the whole scene where the goose shows up when they steal the golden egg, and then the goose just starts going on this rampage trying to get its baby back. Oh god, that scene was insane. And then the sacrifice at the end where Humpty just lets go of the rope and then just whee. Yeah, rest in peace, Egg. Rest in peace with that meme face. So yeah, I think Puss in Boots is fun. I say that it's a pretty good spin-off movie for a really good, well-known character. So yeah, that's really all I have to say for Puss in Boots. And again, for all these other films that I forgot up here, the soundtracks just hit hard. They all just hit hard, so. Alright, Madagascar 3. Oh my god, my mouse. Okay. Madagascar 3. I put it in the same range as the first. I put it in the same range as the first film. And also, let me just also get this out of the way. Why is this movie not liked? I don't get it. Like, I really don't get it. I think Madagascar 3 is actually really fun. I mean, it's not Madagascar 2 levels of fun. But a lot of people always say like, oh, Madagascar 3 is garbage. Madagascar 3 is not fun at all. It's like, I heavily disagree with that statement. Let's just get this out of the way. Once again, the soundtrack just hits hard. Second of all, the villainess in this movie. My god. Chantal Dubois was a threat. Like, she is the she's one of the few characters besides maybe Nana who could keep up with the animals' wacky shenanigans and even get so close to killing Alex for his head, which until then the circus showed up and then saved everybody. And I thought the whole story with the Madagascar crew with the circus animals was actually really touching. Like, I really do like the bonds that they have, especially Alex with Stefano. I think Stefano was interesting. He tells the whole story of why the circus went from being like one of the greatest of all time to being one of the absolute worst things ever. It was thanks to Vitali losing his love for performing, and then Alex talks to him, is like, "Hey, you need to stop being a little bitch. You need to show that you still have that spirit in you. You know, you still have that spirit, but it's because you're haunted by your past that you're not showing that passion anymore." And then, like, the whole circus scene where they play Katy Perry's Fireworks, just, that scene's just amazing. So to all of you who say that Madagascar 3 doesn't really have good moments, I beg to differ. So I'm putting it here in B tier. And speaking of underrated movies, we have a film that I think got there we go. We have Rise of the Guardians. And if my mouse can stop fucking up. Okay. There. Okay, there we go. Alright, Rise of the Guardians. A movie that really is underrated. Like, I've talked about my fair share of underrated movies. But this one takes the gem as the most underrated Dreamworks movie. This movie has an awesome concept. What happens when you take all of the beloved freaking icons of holidays like Santa, Easter Bunny, Jack Frost, like all these holiday icons, and they fight the boogeyman? That's basically this movie. It's the freaking heroes of the holidays fighting the boogeyman and saving children from his fears. Or they save the kids from fear itself, I guess we'll say. The unfortunate thing is, I have not seen this movie in a long while, but from what I remember, this film just kicks ass. This film really deserves more attention. So, I'll say that for now. Also, I just realized that, there we go. I forgot that that was meant to be here. Okay. So now we have The Croods. Yeah, it's in B. Yeah, I guess that's a good spot. Yeah, The Croods. I think this movie is also underrated. I mean, the world is amazing. Like, let's see. The world was awesome. The characters I thought were really likable. The animal designs especially were amazing. Like, the animal designs, oh my god. Like, holy shit. Like, the freaking tiger, the moss tiger that they keep running into in the movie. And the comedy in this one was really fun. I liked the comedy. And fun fact, Ryan Reynolds was in this movie. Ryan Reynolds was the voice of Guy, who is like a fellow caveman person who runs into the Croods like really early. So yeah, a little fun fact of trivia. Ryan Reynolds was in the Croods. And yeah, the whole family journey was fun. The only real thing that kind of ruins it is the whole family drama shit, but even then, the movie itself is amazing. It's just that if you can swallow the whole family drama shit that keeps happening, then you can get through this movie, and the movie itself is fun. So, I put The Croods in B tier. And now we have... No. 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 This film sucks. Turbo? Just no. No. Moving on. Okay, anyway, joke aside. This movie sucks ass. Like, if you want a baby movie to be done shittily, this is the film right here. The characters are boring as hell. The freaking villain? What villain? Honestly. He's not so, the story is about this snail named Turbo who idolizes this race car star And it's like, oh, I would always like to meet him because, he's my idol. But then when he meets the idol later on, he reveals to be the big villain of the movie. A plot twist villain who's absolute dog shit. Because guess what? Up until this point, he hasn't done shit to anyone. It's until after his reveal scene that he now starts treating everyone like a douchebag. Basically, this movie is made for little babies, and you should not watch it unless you want to waste an hour of your life. So, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Oh boy, this film. Huh. I'll put it in low B because it's actually not that bad. I mean, I kind of forget what happens here and there, but I remember that the story's about a dog taking care of a little boy, and then the villain's just another Karen again who doesn't leave them the hell alone. Like, lady, we get it. You don't have a life. Leave the boy and the dog alone. And then they travel to different points in time to save this girl that Sherman hates. But then they become friends later afterwards. This movie has a lot of fun, exciting scenes, but there's a lot of jumps here and there that it takes. So now we have How to Train Your Dragon 2. Just okay, seriously, this mouse does not want to work. There. How to Train Your Dragon 2, just yes. Drago was an awesome villain. The dragon he wields is badass. The story itself is fun. The characters are still amazing like in the first film. Toothless is a badass in this one because he literally shoots a fireball so strong that it destroys dragon's tusk in one hit. And then Draco's whole story about how he used to work with the Vikings was very insane. Because he's like, oh, we'll see how y'all do without me. And then literally the next scene is a dragon just destroys the whole building they're in. And how Hiccup's dad is the only one who actually survived that whole attack. Damn, this movie just hits you. But hey, it's still fucking fun. And speaking of fun, we have the Penguins of Madagascar, which... There we go. Yes. I put this movie in B tier because this film is hilarious. There is so many funny scenes. It's basically a hilarious movie. I find this film not as good as Madagascar 2, but this film is still fucking funny. The penguins are just fun characters. Dave was just hilarious. Literally, this whole movie is hilarious. There are so many funny scenes, so many funny lines, so many memorable quotes. It's basically just a funny-ass movie. And you actually really enjoy it. If you're basically a big fan of the Madagascar movie and the Penguins of the Madagascar TV series, you're gonna love this movie. So, yeah. It's basically just a bunch of... It's basically how you expect the movie to be. A Penguins of Madagascar adventure with funniness and fun action scenes. And the theme for this movie just goes hard. So, now we have... Oh, no. Just... Why does this movie exist? Why, oh why, does home exist? I fucking hate this movie with a flaming passion. How the fuck do you expect me to take this movie seriously? The story we're given is a story of a bunch of raisin aliens named the Boovs. Yeah, that's right, they're called the Boovs. B-O-O-V-S. Boovs. Seriously, just replace the V, put a B in it, and you have the boobs. How do you expect me to take a race this seriously? Oh look, the boobs are coming. Oh no, the boobs. Oh no, don't squirt us. Okay, that joke went a little too far. Okay, but anyway, this movie just... If you want to lose brain cells, watch it. But don't if you don't want to lose your brain cells, because the main character gets shits on like nothing. I get it. The whole movie's basically about learning from your mistakes, but the villain just adds salt to the wound. Like, Captain Smack, who's the villain in this movie, is straight up just he's gonna piss you off. Like the whole point of the boobs taking over is because they're trying to hide from these other aliens called the Gorgs. The Gorgs are these armored, like, intimidating aliens that are hunting the boob, because guess what? The main villain of this movie is a fucking dumbass. Like, there's a scene in the movie where the Gorgs are trying to make a peace treaty. He runs off like a little bitch, steals a rock, and I quote, runs off with it, and the Gorgs start this goose chase. But guess what? Guess what? That rock that's on this stupid little staff called the Shusher, which, sounds stupid. It later turns out that rock is an egg. An egg. That rock was an egg. It's a baby Gorg in the egg. So he stole an egg. Captain Smack stole an egg and was like, oh, let me just take it with me. Like, are you kidding me with that? And you expect me to take this race seriously? And then, like, oh, who's the main character, befriends this girl named Tip with this cat, and they go to find Tip's mom, who got taken away by these boobs, which, again, how can you... Seriously, this movie is just going to make you question things. This movie will basically make you say, how am I supposed to take any of this seriously? I get that it's meant to be a kid's movie, but there's a difference between having a kid's movie and making it work, and then having shit like this where you're just like, what the fuck? But yeah, fuck no. Now we have Kung Fu Panda 3, which... Okay, seriously, my mouse, stop fucking with me. There we go. Kung Fu Panda, actually... Give me a quick second. There we go, that's better. Okay, so Kung Fu Panda 3 is a perfect way to end the trilogy. But then you realize, next year, we're having a fourth film. Yeah, that's right. Kung Fu Panda is getting a fourth movie next year. I honestly have hopes for it, but I don't want to judge it just based on what we see as of now. So, I want to wait till the trailers. But anyway, enough about the hint of Kung Fu Panda 4 happening. We have Kung Fu Panda 3, the third film in the Kung Fu Panda trilogy. This movie is basically how I was expecting it to be. Basically, it's about Po finding his true father, going on this adventure to the Lost Panda Village to basically learn about his whole race as a panda, and then Ping, for some reason, is a douchebag. He's like, I get it. Like, I understand Ping's pain. I get it. Like, you've raised Po all your life, and then randomly the stranger who's his true father shows up, and then you're just like, what? You almost got your son killed in the second film. What the fuck? And then you just come right back all of a sudden? The Furious 5 was also really fun. Furious 5 were cool as well. Yeah, all the Kung Fu Panda movies just nail it. They're all fun. They're all entertaining. They're all just fun films. And then you have Kai, who, while... Oh, God, how do I say this? Kai isn't a bad Dreamworks villain. I will stand by that. That Kai isn't a bad Dreamworks villain. I think Kai is definitely one of the top 10 best ones. But I am also going to say this. He does get clowned a lot. Especially at the end, where he fights Po as the Chi Master. Again, no disrespect to Kai, but he does get clowned a lot. But anyway, he's still a cool villain though. Like, his theme just goes hard. His theme just dun 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 dun. It just goes hard. And then his dual chain blades, just holy shit, do they look cool. And then the whole power that he can steal your chi and then he gets stronger with that is just, it's insane. So, yeah. I think this film just pretty much just shows how great the Kung Fu Panda movies are. And it's films like this one and the other two is why I have high hopes for the fourth film when it comes out next year. So again, if you think that the fourth film's gonna suck ass, then keep in mind, watch these three and then you'll get your hopes back. And now we have the kiddie section of Dreamworks. Oh boy, we have Trolls. I think the movie itself is okay. It's better than Home. But let's just say, if you're gonna watch Trolls, get ready for an acid trip. You're gonna be questioning a lot here. Like, the story is basically, you have these trolls who lived in a tree, who then get captured by these troll weird thingies called the Bergens, who then celebrate this holiday called Trollstice, which is a holiday of them eating the trolls to gain happiness. Which, what the fuck? Like, seriously, keep in mind, this is the plot here. When you actually watch it unfold, it doesn't make sense. Kind of. But then the king of the trolls is like, no, we're gonna leave. Fuck this shit. We don't want to get eaten today. Which then, for some weird reason, the King Bergen gets rid of the chef who was, I guess, who was running the event. He's basically like, oh, chef, it's your fault the trolls got away, so you're gonna be banished, even though every other Bergen, the trolls get away. Why didn't they help? And then the story is basically, oh, Poppy wants to... Fuck, why did she go... Oh, right. Oh, okay, so now I remember. So, Poppy basically runs this party, which the chef Bergen finds the village, takes Poppy's friends, which Poppy is the princess, the pink troll, and then after this party, Chef shows up and is like, oh, what's up, motherfuckers? I found you. Now you're all gonna get captured, even though she only got like 6. Like, Chef, seriously? And then, like, the whole movie's basically Poppy going on this journey to get her friends back, but she teams up with this anti-troll named Branch, who's voiced by Justin Timberlake, who basically isn't all about being happy. Branch is basically that one troll who, despite not having any happiness, he kind of speaks facts. He basically does. Like, I get it that you should always think positively, but there are times where you just can't. You just can't. So, basically, Poppy and Branch are now going on this journey to find Bergen Town again, which is where they came from originally, to basically get her friends back. But, oh no, we have this female Bergen named Bridget who works with the king, who is Gristle, I believe, right? Was it Gristle? I forgot his name. But, yes, I think it was King Gristle, I think. And then Chef's like, oh, here are your trolls, now I'm gonna kill you, for some weird reason, because basically, when Chef got banished, she wanted the power of the king, but the king died, so now the prince, who was the king's son, Gristle, becomes king. But then when Chef brings back some of the trolls for him, she, of course, gains back her role as the chef, but now she wants to kill the king so she can have the power to take over Bergentown. Again, this movie is going to make you have a lot of equations. And then we have Bridget, who falls in love with the king, but then has this really weird musical number, which it actually made me uncomfortable. Okay, so basically, yeah. Basically, if you're gonna be questioning a lot about this movie. But I think the movie itself isn't awful, but just get ready to question a lot about stuff. Because now we have, oh no, just you thought Trolls was gonna make you question things? Boss Baby takes that to the next level. The whole movie is basically making you question your sanity. Not even kidding with you. That's the movie in a nutshell. It's basically what's real, what's not real. Like, you're gonna question a lot about your sanity with Boss Baby. Because you have this baby who is now the boss, or he works at this fucking corporation called Baby Corp, and then he gets sent to a to a kid named Tim, who's the main character, who basically sees the Boss Baby as an obstacle and tries to get rid of the baby. But then he basically makes a deal with the Boss Baby that if he helps him get him back to Baby Corp, then he'll get rid of him for the rest of his life. And I'm just like, what? At the end, of course, we have the villain, which, oh god, I'm sorry, I'm losing brain cells right now. But we have this villain named Francis, who is an old ass man who runs this puppy corporation. He invents this dog called the Forever Puppy. The Forever Puppy is meant to be a puppy forever, but according to Baby Corp, this is a huge problem, because if people start loving puppies more, then babies will start losing their cuteness and they'll lose their love. And then you have these side babies who work with Boss Baby, who are just, do you see what I mean, guys? I can't even talk about Boss Baby without questioning things right now. This movie will make you question shit. It's a movie where you have to see it to believe it. So with that said, I'm just going to stop talking about it and basically say, this movie is an acid trip. Don't watch it. But if you do, make sure you keep your sanity in check. So now we have Captain Underpants, which I'm actually going to put here. I think Captain Underpants is actually really fun. I was actually surprised how great this movie was in theaters. I love the story. It's basically the story from the comics, and it's brought to life. I thought the kid characters were fun as hell. The principal, I love the line at the beginning-ish where he talks about how these two boys are constantly pulling these pranks. And then he's like, I know you're responsible. But then he's like, oh, I have the proof and it's in my gut. And then they're like, he has a lot of proof in there. And then like the whole movie is basically, and then he threatens to put them in separate classes, but then Kevin Hart kid busts out the weird looking ring, and then they make the principal Captain Underpants himself. And then you have the villain who just sells it for me. Professor Poopy Pants will make you laugh your ass off. Especially the line where he looks at Melvin and says, oh, look, we have a grade A suck-up. You know what? The more I think about it, I think that line, a grade A suck-up, I think that describes Alphys in a nutshell. A grade A suck-up. Yeah, I'm going to call her that the next time I see her. Because Professor Poopy Pants speaks facts. And then there's the scene where he puts the kids in a cage and he goes, I hate kids, I hate laughter, and I have a giant metal cage in my briefcase. And then you have the final battle where he's on the giant toilet machine, the giant toilet robot. And then like when his robot gets defeated, he has the shrink and growth ray. And then that whole scene, did you just slap me? Yes, I did, and you deserved it. No, I didn't. Your hand is huge. Look who's talking, Professor Giant Pants. I don't want to hear it. This movie is gonna make you laugh. And I highly recommend it you watch this film. Because when I saw it, I ate my words. I thought this film was gonna suck. But the movie itself is hilarious. So I highly recommend you watch Captain Underpants. I almost said watch Professor Poopy Pants. Whoops. I highly recommend you watch Captain Underpants. It's funny. It has a great story. And the humor, if you have a freaking child's brain, you're gonna laugh your ass off. So now we have How to Train Your Dragon 3. You know what? I'll put it in A. I heard some people say that while it is the best way to end How to Train Your Dragon, some people weren't really the best fans of it. Uh, I think I think the villain in this one was actually a lot more interesting than freaking Draco. Draco was still better in my opinion, but the way how the third villain in this film is like the way basically his goal is to the villain's goal in this film is to hunt these dragons and basically I guess just kill them. But I think what really makes the third film really interesting is the ending. Because because the third villain was such a threat to the dragons, Hiccup and the entire Vikings had to release their dragons so that they can go somewhere safe where people like the third villain in this film can't harm them. The villain in this film was such an impact on the world that it basically changed the way how the Vikings and the dragons were. It really hits hard on that note. Also, I thought the female Night Fury was really cute. So yeah, How to Train Your Dragon 3, while I wouldn't say it's the best out of the How to Train Your Dragon films, I say this one definitely had a really interesting note to end on. And now we have a movie that's... I don't know where to put this, actually, because I actually have never seen this film. But if I were to give it a viewing, I'd probably put it in D, because it's just kind of there. It's basically I don't even know the plot fully yet, so unfortunately I have to put it in haven't seen because I basically haven't seen it yet. And speaking of which, we have Trolls World Tour, which I haven't seen either, but I actually have heard the story of it, and I would put it in the same tier as Trolls. It's basically the same film, but this one expands the world of Trolls. It expands the world, and the story is actually a bit weird, but it's in the same tiering as the first film. Then we have The Croods 2, A New Age, which I also haven't seen yet either. But I heard that it's basically the same film as The Croods. The only real difference is there's not that many new animals, but the development is different. So I can't really say anything about these films. So I'll have to see them another time. And another film I haven't seen, which I've heard is actually a bit of a... sorry. Basically, this film, from what I've heard, actually respects the original story, but the story itself just doesn't make sense. So I would probably put this in D tier, maybe C, if I have seen it. And then we have the... I hate it when my mouse does this. Okay, serious. Oh my god. Oh, there. Okay. So we have Boss Baby 2. How to Boss Baby 2? I have not seen this movie either. But it's just as fucking weird as this one. I also heard that the villain is voiced by Jeff Goldblum in this version in the movie. He's voiced by, yeah, it's Jeff Goldblum who voices the villain. That's really all I know. And then we have, I hate to say this, but I have not seen The Bad Guys. I really hate to say that because I heard that The Bad Guys is such an amazing film, and I want to see it so bad. I want to see it, but I haven't seen it yet. But I probably put it in A or S because of how many great reviews it gets, and I heard a lot of people say that this film has a lot of funny moments. And now we have... Okay, come on. I have to. It wins. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. It's the best film Dreamworks has created. I just can't. Story, amazing. Characters, amazing. Soundtrack, oh my god. Villains, Jesus. Let's break this down a little bit more. Puss in Boots is still a badass. Kitty Saw Paws was fun. Perrito, oh my god, I fell in love with him because he's a puppy who swears. And then you have the villains like Jack Horner, who was a threat throughout the whole film, and Death himself. The way how they used Death was such a good touch. They didn't overuse him, but when he was on screen, you knew shit was gonna happen. You knew. especially when you hear the death whistle. The minute you hear him whistle, you know he's coming. And the whole story is basically about Puss trying to, like, I guess you could say Puss was trying to find himself again, because he kind of gets a little softer once he realizes all of his lives are gone. Or, like, 8 of his lives are gone, but then, like, towards the end, he really doesn't care anymore. That even if he loses his final life, he's gonna go down a hero. Also, the fact the third or the fourth, I think it's the third film. Basically, the supposed ending is hinting at another film of Puss in Boots, but it's gonna feature Shrek and Donkey, and I even heard a rumor saying that Shrek and Donkey are gonna appear in the next Puss in Boots movie. So I'm fucking excited for that. And Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, just the film itself is just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. It's that fucking great. It's the best film Dreamworks has made. And then last but not least, The Teenage Kraken. Haven't seen it. I've heard mixed reviews of it. I probably put it in like B, because I think the movie itself looks cute. And I heard scenes of it. I've seen scenes, but I haven't seen the whole thing to give a proper review yet. So I'm putting it in I haven't seen yet, because I haven't seen it yet. But there we go. That's the entire DreamWorks tier list. I think this. So yeah, this is the Multi-Scatter Sans / Sans' tier list of DreamWorks movies. If you have your own version of this tier list, or if you ever want to make your own, let me know in the comments, and then maybe you can tell me what your tier list would look like of DreamWorks' films. So that's gonna be it for this little tier list video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to judge me, but hey, that's what these tier lists are invented for, to give your honest opinions on certain films. So, yeah, and I'm glad to finally return for a good while, since I've been gone away from this channel for a while, but, so yeah, glad I was able to make a tier list video for you guys, and basically I'll giving you a little update that we're going to be doing more tier list videos, and reactions in the future. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you did watch this little tier list video, you know, hit the like, hit the bell, and comment down below on your thoughts on this tier list. And if you don't agree, where would you put these films in your own tier list? So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day. I couldn't think of an outro, so that's gonna be it for now. So yeah.